Hello there. Welcome to Mexican Life and Wife. This is a follow-up video in regards to our wedding in Queretaro and our honeymoon in Puerto Vallarta. So the previous video described all that we were working towards getting our wedding put together, and also Rebecca's permanent residence in Canada. So now it's January 2022. I arrived in Queretaro probably 2 weeks earlier, before the wedding for February 12th, to get some items done, such as I needed to get my birth certificate, my passport notarized and translated in Spanish to get our marriage license. Along with that, we needed to get our blood test, and for the blood test, it's basically it's for screening of HIV. So I don't know if they're still practicing that in 2025, but for 2022, yes, we had to get that done. So we got everything done. We submitted the proper documents needed to get our marriage license. And so then the next step was solidifying where we were going to have our our venue. And so we picked Hotel Horikia, and I have had videos in regards to having Hotel Horikia prior. It's one of the oldest hotels in Mexico. It originally was built around 1707, and that it wasn't always a hotel, but it did turn into one. Very colonial, beautiful. So we had to pick our menu. We solidified it a while back, but we needed to go through our menu, the details of our DJ, where they were going to set up. We have a party of about 100, and so we were invited to do a meal sampling testing, and so we did that probably 10 days prior to the actual day. The meal was tasty, so we went with like a nice salad, then a chicken dish with assorted vegetables and I believe squash. Then we had two types of desserts to be chosen from. And for the wedding also, so we also had to buy our liquor and wine, beer, and so we went to a couple of places. They do have a Costco and other establishments, La Comer and stuff. Stores, chain stores in Mexico. So we got all that done, and everything's starting to look like we're going to be prepared for our big day. Now on February 12th, we actually did get married, and so what it looked like was we had a civil ceremony prior to all the guests arriving, and that was at about probably around 1. And for that, it was just myself, Rebecca, good friends of ours that came in from Edmonton, Ray and Bev, Rebecca's brothers, Eduardo and Jorge, and her parents, Rosita and Jorge. And so it was still COVID, of course, and we had to wear masks during our vows. But we were able to remove the mask for our traditional kiss. So that was short and sweet. Got everything done, and now we were officially married. So strike off that, not only for getting married, but also for applying for a permanent resident for Rebecca to come to Canada as my wife. Now there was a break, and so with the venue Hotel Horikia, we got a free room for the night, and Ray and Bev also solidified. Actually, quite a few guests stayed at Hotel Horikia because they gave us a good rate. And so we went back. We had a few cervezas, Coronas, and just relaxed a little bit. That kind of tension, kind of just made us more relaxed and ready to enjoy the afternoon and evening. Now, we picked a time because I think we weren't a big party. We had less than 100. That we chose a time like where it would start at like 4 and end at 11. Okay. So when we went to the event, I mean, it was at the same place. So we just walked through a garden and met up with our guests who were coming in, trickling in, and we took photo ops with everybody. There was a church or iglesia on the site of Hotel Horikia. Granted, it wasn't a big church. I don't even think it had places to sit, but it was like an ornamental church. So we took a lot of pictures there with all the family that wanted to do pictures there. And we were just having some cocktails and some snacks before they eat. Vanya, who is Rebecca's cousin, did all the floral arrangements for tables, and also she set up a salty and sweet table. So that basically it's as it sounds. It has lots of sweets on it, potato chips, crackers, nuts, etc. And that was located by the bar. And so with the event, the Hotel Horikia, of course, supplied the staff. So we had a couple bartenders, a few waiters, and very detailed. Like they were on the money. They weren't playing around. They were getting everything done, and very professional. So Rebecca and I, in the beginning there, so as everybody was seated for supper, we sat at what was called a novio table. Novio's table, yeah. So we had our own table. We didn't really have a head table. That was the table facing everybody, and all the other tables, usually went in succession there, where the parents sat with their siblings, so Rebecca's aunt and uncles and her cousins all gathered at one table, friends and family at another, and so forth, and the children had a table. So my buddy Ray, he gave a speech. It was about basically telling Rebecca's family about me, and a toast to the groom. And he was fortunate enough, or I was fortunate enough, that he was able to reach out and got some detailed information from my boys who were unable to attend. And I understand it was COVID times, time of travel was difficult, and probably a little bit more expensive for them to get there. And so, they greeted and welcomed Rebecca to our family. We also had a video made by another cousin. I think it was Marta or Sandy. I cannot remember which one, but they made a little introductory video of Rebecca and I put some pictures together, and they edited it and put it and then played it prior to while we were eating, just telling the story about Rebecca and I, our life. Then it was time to dance. So we, like traditionally, the bride and groom dance first. Our song was by the Stylistics, and it was called "You Make Me Feel Brand New." And it's a song that kind of hits us both, because we both have pasts, and the song told us that you're with somebody new who makes you feel brand new and makes you feel young and ready for the world again. So that's how our interpretation went, and it was well done, and everybody enjoyed that. And then we had Rebecca's parents, Rosita and Jorge. They had their wedding song, and so they came up next. And then after a bit, I cut in and I danced with Rosita, and Rebecca danced with her dad, Jorge, and finished off. And then pretty soon everybody was gathering on the floor and starting to dance. And the DJ, they were really good. Of course, there were some translations that some of the songs I didn't recognize, and some of the family are a little bit more youthful, so it was very very hopping and a lot of Latino focused music. So I enjoyed it. I didn't understand a damn word for some of the songs, but you know what? It was great melody and good beat. And let's face it, I love music. So whether it's in Spanish or in English, it didn't matter to me. So everybody was getting, having a good time. There was another wedding. It had a fair bit, and it was loud as well. But we kept pace with them. Being loud and having a lot of fun. But towards the end there, I know we were getting a little tired. We know that we were catching a plane early with Ray and Bev. We were going on our honeymoon to Puerto Vallarta. But I know that a few of Rebecca's family had made some other arrangements, and they're going to continue the party elsewhere. So no matter what, it was going to carry on. So we went, tucked ourselves in, got up, had an early breakfast, a very good breakfast, and next thing you know, we're in a taxi going to the Queretaro airport and heading off to Puerto Vallarta, which took about 50 minutes. Taxi 20 on a beach at all exclusive with a margarita in our hands. Probably hour and 15. Perfect. Can't go wrong with that. So yeah, and that's when one of my boys, Josh, and my daughter-in-law to be at the time, Swara, came and celebrated with us. And so they were down there for the inclusive at the Rue Palace Pacifico in the Riviera Narita. So beautiful hotel, and as I mentioned, all inclusive. So we really enjoyed. We did the buffet. Of course, they had the steakhouse, they had the Japanese, and of course they had the Mexican. And then after we always ate, and we'd want to go watch the show in the evening and then take a walk on the beach. So I really enjoyed the theme shows that they have there, and it was a lot of fun, and especially in in going in a group where it's just kind of a celebration 24/7. It was fun. It was good. We did some off the resort. We went into Bucerias. We walked along the beach and went in. We did the vendors, like looking at the trinkets. I did buy a sombrero because my ball cap just wasn't doing it. It was getting a little bit warm and hot on my head there, so I did buy a sombrero. And then we found a little restaurant, family run, and that was important to Josh and Swara because they wanted to give to a family that wasn't a corporation or anything like that. They wanted to do something like that, very authentic Mexican food. And so, yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. It was like tacos pastar, lots of fixings, and it didn't really cost us too much. We left a big tip and thanked them very much for entertaining us, and what a great experience that was. So then we walked back and we did a lot of the Josh and Swara, of course, they're young, so they're off the resort and doing a bunch of different tasks or different events. And Ray and Bev and I and Rebecca, we just kind of hung out in the resort for the most part. Rebecca would join in on the poolside activities such as aerobics, and I did mostly singing and drinking. So I was having my own kind of fun with the other people like Ray and Bev. And yeah, so then what else did we do there? Oh, and Ray and Bev surprised us. Rhythms of the Night. So that's not very far from the resort. We get on a boat, we go across the bay, and basically it's like a dinner and a show. So simplified, but it's more than that. It's a little bit more well-to-do, well done, and it's almost like a Cirque du Soleil, if you're familiar with those. And so extreme acrobatics and heart pumping tricks and everything like that, fireworks and playing with fire and just different themes. And it was great. The food was really good too. They had a restaurant at first, and so it was a bit a buffet, and picked and choose what we wanted. But it was a great wedding gift. I really enjoyed that. So thanks, Ray and Bev. And we also took the day in. All of us went into the Malecon on Puerto Vallarta, and we met up with one of our both Ray and I and Rebecca. We belong to kind of not a Spanish class, but more of a kind of like a conversational Spanish at a Latino restaurant in Edmonton. So every other week or every 3 weeks, we would get together and talk Spanish at a restaurant. And during COVID, it was more online. So, but one of the patrons that did that with us, I was actually down in Puerto Vallarta at the time, and so we got together and had a few cervezas and caught up on some times, and then we continued walking the Malecon and checking out different stores. Bev was really hunting down a Katrina, and she did find one and did get it, so that was good. And yeah, so just a great time. I'm glad that usually most people don't have people along on their honeymoon, but we certainly did. We loved it, and so nothing wrong with it. And so Ray, Bev, Josh, and Swirl had to go back to Edmonton from Puerto Vallarta. I went back with Rebecca for a few more days prior to me getting back to Edmonton or myself. Enjoy the video and the clips and the pictures, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, hasta luego.